was always my goal to get into tech. So even when I started college, my major was psychology, but my parents pushed me to go into technology. So I did computer science for a couple of years, and taking those computer science courses, the programming courses and like the math courses that were, also part of the curriculum, it got me exposure into a very tech heavy work. I didn't finish with CS because I didn't want to just sit in front of the computer programming all day long.
Welcome to Latinx in Power, a podcast hosted by Thaisa Fernandes.
Welcome to Latinx in Power. Today we are talking with Sandra Warner. Sandra is a seasonal operations executive with over 15 years of experience in project management and implementation, especially in the federal and public sectors. I'm so excited with this conversation. Welcome, Sandra.
Thanks for having me here, Thaisa. I'm really excited to be here and contribute to this discussion. Latinx leaders need more exposure, because we are out here, but highly underrepresented. So thank you for this platform and for the chance for me to speak.
Thank you. I'm so excited with this episode. So we will discuss Sandra's insights on engaging stakeholders, collaborating with cross-functional teams, and incorporating diversity and inclusion values into project management. She will also discuss challenges faced as a woman in her field and share advice for conflict resolution. Exciting topic. And first things first, can you tell us about your background and how you became an operations executive?
Yes, I'd love to. So the bulk of my career was spent at a software as a service SaaS company here locally to where I live, where the product we created helped organizations make decisions. So it used an algorithm based on the analytical hierarchy process, AHP, which is a framework for decision making. So it was a very unique product, and I really loved to be part of that team. So here I spent over 10 years working at this company. And when I initially started my career there, it was still considered a startup. So here's where I grew professionally and where my work impacted the growth of the company very positively. So it was impactful for me because initially my role was very internally focused. So I supported our professional services team and their success with our customers, with the implementation of the software. As time went on and the company matured, my role also evolved. And then I started working heavily on major implementations with our customers. So I was doing anything from facilitating meetings and direct training with them and other activities as such. And then toward the latter of my tenure at this company, I was tasked to manage the technical support team, which I gladly accepted. So, with these added responsibilities of managing another team, it more than doubled my workload. But I took it as a great opportunity and chance to learn new technical skills. I was very enthusiastic when I started this role. And here I was heavily involved with DevOps, our product team, and our engineering teams. We worked very closely together, my team and I. And then in this role, I also expanded my touch points with our customers, where my communications with them were on a different level than they had been before when I was strictly doing implementations. So then I continued, to perform my duties as an associate director of operations. And then within this capacity, I also served as a primary liaison between several departments, which included marketing, the customer success team, our product team, and then account management. So my focus then was ensuring our customers had the best experience with any aspect of their engagement with the product and with the company. So we worked with federal, civilian, state and local, and privately held customers. And my job was to maximize our internal processes and workflows to ensure our teams were working as efficiently as possible, which also helped secure our renewals with our customers. So my work, helped us grow and scale on a number of years. And I really like to think that I had a constructive and beneficial effect on the development of the company. So this is how I became an expert at running operations and where I am now.
That's incredible. Thank you for sharing your story. And it's very interesting. And how was this process for you getting into tech? Was always your goal, or do you think it was something that just happened?
So it was always my goal to get into tech. So even when I started college, my major was psychology, but my parents pushed me to go into technology. So I did computer science for a couple of years, and taking those computer science courses, the programming courses and like the math courses that were, also part of the curriculum, it got me exposure into a very tech heavy work. I didn't finish with CS because I didn't want to just sit in front of the computer programming all day long. That wasn't my personality. So even though I did get exposure to it and I was involved in it for, like I said, a couple of years, I did switch back to psychology, but I added a minor in business. So since then, though, technology was growing and moving so fast when I was in college. Like I remember at our campus, we had a computer room where everybody would go in and use the computer. So each of us didn't have their own laptops yet. It just wasn't part of the mainstream like it was now. So just like as technology was growing, I was learning new things. And then I just continued to evolve with technology. I always knew I wanted to become a part of a SaaS team and company because that's where you're changing the world. Like they move very fast. It's very fast paced. They're always keeping up and innovating the product to keep up with, the consumer's demand. So I knew I wanted to be part of that, and I still want to be part of that. So I think it just started, when I was in college, all the, internships I did, after college, and then all of that. So that's how I became and started in SaaS companies and in tech. So it's the future, right? So I don't want to be left behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we need more Latinx people in tech for sure. And kudos to your parents. They were visionaries. That's incredible.
I know. I always tease them about it because I didn't end up finishing with that degree. But, they made me venture out and just open up my mind a little bit, which, yes, I'm thankful for that now, 20 years later.
Amazing. What does it mean to be a Latina for you?
So what it means for me is coming from a diverse background. Even though we have a lot of similarities within each other, we also have a lot of differences. So differences in dialects, in our food, traditions are a little bit different. All culture is similar, but there's also differences in our culture, music and more. So I think, it helps us with getting more unity amongst our people and supporting each other with troubles, even with successes, with whatever it is. We just need to be there for each other. And I think we are so close. We love to be Latina. I don't know anybody who is Latina or Latino who doesn't love to be. It's just such a rich culture, rich background and history. I'm just so proud of it. So, I feel connected when I supporting others in the Latino community. And, I always try to look out for smaller businesses that are owned by Latinos and Latinas and just try to help them with their business and help support them. Because that's the way, like, if we all do a little bit of that, we're all going to just help each other. So that's what it means to be Latina for me.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I love that. And how do you typically engage key stakeholders and collaborate with cross-functional teams to drive performance? I think this is a very important question, and I'm sure a lot of people will learn with that, folks who want to get into operations, project management. So we'd love to hear your insights.
So it's important to build relationships with whomever you're engaging with. So whether they're colleagues, clients, executive leadership at your job, or any subordinates that you may have. So getting to know and understand your audience is key in establishing a strong foundation to a long-lasting relationship, business relationship. So then once you establish that good, baseline and relationship, it's easier to get buy-in. It's easier to get them to listen to you and understand what you're trying to get across and just get buy-in from them. It helps a lot with engagement. And then that helps with contract performance. So for cross-functional teams to work cohesively, you need a strong leader that is dependent, that's also trustworthy, that, their subordinates can trust them, and experienced as both an individual contributor and a leader. So for your team, you need them to be qualified in their roles. They need to have the right skills and they need to mesh and work well together. So that's very important that they get along in some way professionally, right? I'm not saying personally they don't have to get along, but at least in the workplace, they should work well together. You also need a clear and concise goal with the right expectations that are also part of the formula to drive good team performance. So lastly, the team needs to be equipped for success and not overloaded with work. If you give them too much work, they're just going to shut down and not be able to perform, efficiently. So I've learned to stick to these rules to have highly successful cross-functional teams. And then, we're all working together to achieve the mission and to get the project done. So I hope that's helpful, how to run highly successful cross-functional teams.
I love that. I really like that because it's very complete and that's incredible. Thank you for sharing. And I think another very important aspect is diversity. So can you speak to the importance of diversity and inclusion in project management and how you incorporate these values in your work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. So diversity and inclusion are, extremely important for any project or organization to thrive. There have been lots of studies done that prove that by having a diverse and more inclusive workforce, employees are less likely to leave and they become more loyal to the company. It increases loyalty and retention, which everybody knows it's really expensive to go out and hire new employees all the time. That's a big expense for any organization. So companies that are more diverse are 35% more likely to make higher profits. So as a leader, I incorporate these in any chance that I get. So either by learning about other people's and other cultures as much as possible, just getting out of my comfort zone and asking questions. If I don't know something, there's always a good way to ask a question that you're curious about, something you're curious about. So just asking questions, learning independently, about different people. So when I form teams, I ensure that the teams are diverse, and not only by including folks from different backgrounds, but also including folks with different skill set. So, at my previous jobs, I love to have people from like the engineering team and those very highly technical people, along with like the artistic marketing people, because you can get great insights and great feedback from both types of skill sets, right? So not just having one type of group or one type of skill set in your team. I think you need a diverse team to, get the best suggestions, the more brainstorming, you get better ideas that way. So advice for our community, I say, just be open and explore new cultures, get to know your neighbors, get to know your children's teachers or their principal, or their, if they come from another background, just get to know them a little bit. You really will learn that everybody has really great traditions and cultures. So it's nice to know what everybody's about. Eat different foods, attend, different events, and just keep your mind open and always learning.
Incredible. I love that. I really resonate to what you said about asking questions. I think we underestimate the power of asking questions. And maybe it's, I don't know, because of the internet, the generation thing. Sometimes we feel that we need to know everything. And sometimes people talk with you about something that is happening and you don't know, and you might feel bad saying, oh, I don't know. But I think it's very powerful to ask questions and say, I don't know, can you tell me more about it? So yeah, that's a really, really good learning overall, I feel. Another thing that I liked that you said is getting to know your neighbors. I think this is very special as well. And I love leaders who are very strategic and create their team based on diversity, cultural diversity, ethnic diversity, but also diversity of skills. I think this is what makes the work interesting. I think this is when we also create better products, because if we have the same people creating those products, we are probably going to see the same thing over and over again.
Yes.
Right?
You need a little bit of spice in there.
Totally. Sometimes have been living in the US for almost 10 years, and I'm starting to forget things. But when I come back home, sometimes I see things that I'm like, oh, the internet here is very slow. And, some things you're used to do, you cannot do and we cannot perform in the same way. And at the same time, there's the other way around. For example, fun fact, my dishwasher broke. And yesterday someone came to fix it. And he was like, oh, I prefer to get paid in check. And I never had check in my life. I never used check because in Brazil, I think like the banks and fintechs overall are very tech savvy, and I never had that. And I had a check when I moved to the US. It was the first time I owned a check. And then I was, oh my God, I don't know where my check is. Can I pay you with card? Because I'm still not used to that. And for me, it's funny to think about paying things with check or like mailing a check. I was like, oh my God, it feels like very old school for me because I never did that back in Brazil.
We need new developers out here to get us away from checks.
Oh my God, please. I don't like checks. I would like to hear more about your insights about working in the field as a woman, as a Latina. What are the challenges you face and what are the tips and advice you want to share with us?
So, I feel like as a Latina, I do have to work double as hard as my male counterparts do that are not Latinos. They don't even overexert themselves on any project to get recognized or even promoted, while I feel I have to always work overtime and on overdrive just to get noticed. It happens. It's the truth. Like, it's an ugly truth, but it happens. Men are given more opportunities to succeed. And I feel it's easier for them to reach their goals. They have a stronger support system and they look out for one another. I'm not saying women don't do this with other women, but some men in power positions don't offer women the same opportunities they would if those women were men. So in my career, I was overlooked for promotions and raises, and I have seen firsthand other minority women, highly capable for professionals, also get overlooked. And it's really demoralizing. Like, because I'm such a loyal employee, it's hard when I go through something like that to talk myself into staying hardworking and loyal. But it's something I still have to do, to stay in the game. So, I think we continue in the US to struggle with this. Just women overall don't get paid equally as men. That's one thing. And then Latinas, even worse. I think they're paid maybe 30 cents to the dollar or something that men, the last time I checked, it was something like that. So I feel like we have to work so hard when men, I'm not saying men are not hardworking, but I just feel like we have to do double to get noticed. So, part of this podcast is just to get out there and just, let people know we do have great Latinas out here that are professional, loyal, very intelligent, hardworking. Give everybody a chance to succeed. Give them an equal playing ground, as much as you can. And as a leader, I would definitely do the same. So that's just my experience that I have 3 daughters. When they grow up, and get out of college and start working, I'm very hopeful that things have changed for them. They're going to be Afro-Latinas. So they're going to face an even, hopefully not a difficult struggle like I have now, but maybe they will. I mean, I don't know. I'm just hopeful that I'm helping open up new doors for them and they won't have to see the things that I've seen and just, they'll be successful, easier, achieve their goals faster, get help better, in their 20s and starting their careers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think this is what we all hope, that things are going to get better. And at the same time, I feel that it's very important to talk about topics like that. Thank you for sharing more about your experience and also bringing data to this conversation, because I feel sometimes people might feel, oh, this is an opinion. No, this is not an opinion. There's research, there's data to back that up. Woman, we earn less than a man performing the same job, and Latinas even worse. So yeah, we definitely need to talk about that and this whole issue, and hopefully things will get better. But I think the first start is just like having those uncomfortable situations, right? That there's no solution right now and we need to work on that. And moving to another topic that I feel that is very interesting, conflicts and disagreements. And they happen in the work environment. As a project manager, you need to work around that. So how do you handle conflicts or disagreements within a project? And what are the steps you take to resolve them?
So I think conflict often arises with a miscommunication somewhere within the project. So the best way to deal with it is to sit down, talk through the issues, listen to what everybody has to say, whomever those stakeholders are or employees, come up with a good plan and then make sure the plan is followed through. So it can be as easy as just listening to somebody, because most of the time when you're listening to somebody and they know you're actively listening and paying attention and you just repeat what they've told you back to them, you're halfway there solving whatever the problem is. So they're willing to engage and participate. The key is to just let folks talk it out and then just listen to their grievances. I think just following these steps will, get you a long way in resolving whatever conflict it is. People want to be heard. And once they know that they've been listened to, then resolving that conflict becomes easier. The plan that you established to resolve that issue will become easier, and it's easier to accomplish it. So, people are humans. Their emotions are involved a lot of the time. So if you just listen to what they have to say, and then make sure they understand that you're listening, because there's a difference between hearing and listening. Listening, you need to make sure that they know they've been heard. And, once they get that recognition, I think they'll feel better. Their barrier, their wall goes down, and then they're willing to open up and be, willing to resolve the issue. So communication is big. Talk it out. Whoever it is that you're dealing with, just talk it out, and then the problem will get resolved.
I love that. And it's interesting because I think there is a quote from a book that I don't remember the name, but the author said that you should listen without thinking about your answer, just like listening to what the other person is saying. And this is stuck with me because I feel sometimes we feel pressure about like answering and coming up with like a beautiful answer or a solution that we are listening to the other person, like thinking what we are going to say back, but we are not truly listening. So this is a really, really good reminder. I love that. And we are getting to the end of this episode. I'm enjoying so much our conversation. You're so smart and strategic. I love everything you said. So I wanted to ask you, what resource helped you in your journey?
So in my career, I've been very lucky to have great mentors along the way who have been women. They've been strong and independent, and they have overcome many hurdles to get to where they are. Some of them are not minorities, but some of them are. And I think the minority women, they're older than me. They've struggled with the same, even maybe more conflicts than I have in their career, or, when they started off working. So, they've helped me in offering me unbiased opinions and advice because, I'm very emotional. If something happens to me at work, I take it very personal. And if it weren't for them to just listen to, the issue and then just offer me an unbiased opinion, then it's very hard for me to look at it without, involving my emotions. So they've helped me through that, and they've helped me be able to think that way too. Just get the emotions out. Don't take it personally. It's not about me. There's other issues that I need to look at. There's other aspects I need to look at. So, they've helped me during difficult times in my career, including several times when I have gotten overlooked for promotions. So, with these women, I've often emulated what they did, the way that they worked, the way they presented to large audiences, and then the way that they problem solved. I really try to capture very important aspects of them and try to incorporate that in the way that I started working. They taught me how to think and work strategically. So for, others out there, I think it's important to find people that have already been through what you're going through. Normally, it's older people. That's just what I have found, that have already struggled with those struggles. And there's a saying in Spanish, I don't really know how to translate it well in English, but it's like the devil knows more from being old than being the devil. And in Spanish, it's like el diablo sabe más por ser sabio de por ser diablo. So they know they've been through more, their experience, just their age, and they know so much more than a younger person. So, just trying to find somebody like that for them to mentor you. And it doesn't have to be like something that they take on full time. Just ask questions here and there. If they're willing to work with you, it will help you a lot because they will give you the best practices and those unbiased opinions that you need in order to overcome an issue and overcome a problem. So I'm very thankful to those mentors that I have had and I continue to have, because they do help me think in a different way that I would not think myself. That's how I've been kind of successful in my career with my mentors.
Incredible. I love our conversation. So first thing, talk with your neighbors. Don't forget to build your community and use your community. Help each other and have people who have the same experience as yours and learn with them. Listen, truly listen to what people are saying. So I really resonate with those insights. So thank you so much for sharing. I really enjoy our conversation. So I'm going to leave the last minutes for you to share anything you want to share and where people can find you.
So people can find me on LinkedIn. My profile is there. And then also via email, which is also found on LinkedIn. So, if you have any questions or if you just want to get some feedback or, any way that I can help you, if you're just starting out in your career, you don't know how to get to the next step, or you just want some quick advice on something, I'm more than happy to help. I love to just hear what you have to say and like brainstorm together, collaborate together, and just find a solution. So, I'm out here as a resource to anybody who needs it. I'm a, hardworking Latina. I love the US. There's so many opportunities here. So let's all just help each other grow and get better and help us get raises and promotions.
Yes, I love that.
So I just want to thank you, Thaisa, for this opportunity. It's been great. Our conversation was wonderful. I really love that you have this platform, and thank you so much. Please don't stop doing it. It's very helpful. It'll help get the word out to, other Latinas and other non-Latinos. So I thank you so much for putting this together. It's wonderful that you're so creative and putting this out there. So we need more of this, definitely. So thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.